Hey folks, I want to apologize for the recent video I just posted. Um, was entitled Life is Not a Spectator Sport. Now I realize the first 12 minutes of that thing was a blank. I am so sorry to put anybody through that. I can't believe anybody even bothered to try and watch that shit. I don't know what happened. And normally we review these things. As soon as they go up, we actually go online and view it ourselves to see what it looks like. And I didn't do that this one time. We were in a hurry to get to the gym. We shot some things in the gym today, which are also going to be up. And I didn't review it. We didn't look at it. So the whole time we were gone, it was up there with this blank space, at the first 12 point whatever minutes of it. And I had been on a really good roll, actually. The first portion of the video that you don't see was actually the best part. So just briefly, what I was trying to get to, the kind of the part that was left out, was just how I have been able to eliminate some stress in my day-to-day life. When I got to go out and do the daily grind thing, I got to get up, I got to go to work, the whole 9 yards, just like everybody else. There's got to be a better way. I'm sure there is a better way, but this is the world that we have created for ourselves, and you reap what you sow. This is what we have here. This is the system. You would think that in a world of plenty like we have now, no one should go hungry. There's enough resources for everyone. No one should go homeless. No one should be cold. And yet that's not what we have. We have a frigging mess. But it's what we have. So, small steps to the moon. Right now, we do what we can, one-to-one basis, human to human. But pretty much what I had been doing was I would get extremely stressed out driving to work. First of all, there's many other things I'd rather do with my time, right? Because it's a day in your life. It's a day in your life, and that's how you're spending that day. That's how you're spending it. Like I said before, if each day was a golden coin, and rather than have a bottomless barrel with so many in there, you couldn't even consider ever running out. You looked in the barrel and said, Jesus, I have so many friggin' gold coins, so many days that I can purchase with this. I don't even know what to do with them all, so surely I can waste this or fritter that away or whatever. But if you had them all tossed down on the table before you, and you saw that they weren't finite, but there was a limited number, and you could count that number if you sat there and counted it, and that was the exact number of days you had. Then when you woke up that morning and you had to clock in and turn that gold coin in for you to have that day, I think that as you exchanged that coin for the gift of that day, you would spend that day entirely differently than otherwise. Now, isn't that strange, the way that we have been programmed? That when you think of it in those terms, and you attach that monetary value, that gold coin you have to exchange for that day, to live that day, now all of a sudden, it's easy for us to grasp the value, the worth of that day, how much it's worth, and then we're going to want that money's worth. But you take away the gold coins, okay? The gold coins are nothing. They're worthless. They can't buy another day. So that's how much more precious every day is, the gift of that. And so I didn't want to live full of stress and anger and aggravated. And going to work, the traffic's bad. It's hectic. I have to go into a crowded urban type area where there are tons of people trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do, trying to get to work. Everybody's in a hurry. Nobody wants to be late. Nobody wants to have given up the weekend, surrendered the weekend to come to work Monday morning. And so people are very rude, and they're very disrespectful, and we're dehumanized. Everybody's in their little car, and they don't think of each car as being occupied and under the control of a human, as another human being. They just objectify. And so they're anonymous in that car, and they're safe, and the windows are rolled up, and half the time they're tinted even. So they don't really have to be held accountable for their actions. They can just cut you off. They can and do whatever they want. Tailgate you, fly up on your bumper, push you, whatever. Well, if I leave even enough space between myself and the person in front of me that I believe it's a safe distance at that speed, I'll be damned if somebody isn't going to come along and swing, curve over, cut me off sharply with no signal and try and squeeze into that space. And most of the time, they're depending that I'm going to have to brake and allow it once I see it, because if I don't, we will have a collision and I will be at fault because I'll be running into the rear end of their car and I should keep my car in control. So legally, in that state, I'm at fault. So, of course I'm not going to run into them. But they do it all the time, and it's just so much, so crazy how rude people are. They won't let you over when you signal, and so I would get really irritated, big time. I'd be in the car and I'd be, you son of a, this effing that, and look at this effing idiot over here, you mother effer, all the way to work and all the way home. And I thought, what wasted energy that is, and how negative that is. That whole drive, that hour plus each way, just complete negativity for 2.5 hours or so out of every one of my days that I leave to go to work. So I decided, I wonder how many times I actually get irritated like that. So I started to keep an accounting of it. And it was just a crazy number. I couldn't even keep track. It was so much more than I realized. When I actually became conscious of it and tried to account for it, it was many, many more than I would have ever ventured to guess. I would have guesstimated a far lower number of occurrences. So that made me realize it is a problem. I need to do something about it. If I could eliminate all this stress, these incidents, I wonder how that would impact my day-to-day life. Would it improve it? Couldn't make it worse. I have nothing else to do on the way to work, so let's try it. So what I did was, now this is what I did. It worked for me. Now, whatever metaphor you choose to use, whatever you believe in, whatever works, works. This is what worked for me, okay? So every time I would have an instant where I would fly off the handle and be like, that's mother effer, look at this. I would catch myself and say, oh, Lord, please forgive me. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to say that about that human being there. The world is full of negativity aplenty. It doesn't need me adding to it. It doesn't need my additional negativity put out there and released into the world. And I made myself do that every single time. And you know what? I kept slipping. It didn't at first diminish the number of occurrences at all. But I continued to go through the apology, forgive me for that, and I would do it again and again. I'd be like, shit, did it again. And I'd ask for forgiveness, etc. And I was sorry, didn't mean it, take it back. And eventually, it took quite a while, but the number of occurrences began to diminish. And then all of a sudden, overnight, one day, I was just at work. I just arrived. I arrived at work, and it seemed like the drive had been nothing. Nothing. Just, I had time to think and reflect on things, and that's time well spent sometimes. There's a lot of things that we need to put our minds to. And I just felt refreshed, and I wasn't tired, and it seemed like it hadn't been a hassle at all, and I got there very quickly. I looked at the clock and realized I didn't get there any quicker than any other time. There was no less traffic at all. I just had moved beyond it. So now it still happens. I will still slip here and there. Of course, I'm only human. I fall short. We all fall short. But it absolutely diminished the amount of stress and negativity in my life. And it was the first, the beginning of something. It was a start. And I knew it was a start. I could feel the difference. It was a tangible quality of my life that had been improved. So before you knew it, just things started to, like the domino things started to fall together, and more positivity seemed to be around me. And I started to see more positivity. And I also started to notice the negative things. And when negativity rose its head in me or around me, it was easy for me to identify it. It stood out because it wasn't the norm for me anymore. And it absolutely has enhanced my quality of life. Absolutely has. No bullshit. When you think positively and you focus on positivity, it will change your life. Positive things come from it. It will repay you tenfold for all the effort you put into it, but you have to be sincere. You can't expect just to start thinking positive and things are going to change overnight and you'll experience some epiphany immediately. You might. I didn't, but it will come to you. It will come to you. And you'll know it's coming because you will feel improvement. You will feel different. You will feel better. You will realize it is effort worth, well spent. It's worth its while. And, like I said in the other part of the video that didn't make it, that's vanished, if you don't know where to start, maybe you're submerged in negativity around you and you don't know, it's overwhelming. Well, just start. That's the important part. Just start to, if you can't do positive things right now, if you can't affect a positive change, then you can just start to think positively. You can start to notice the negativity. You can realize and recognize it for what it is and that you don't need it, you don't want it, it doesn't help anything, it makes things worse. It's infectious. It's a cancer. You start to think more positively, you start to speak more positively, and you just, before you know it, you're surrounded by positivity. So even the smallest beginning, even the most humble beginning, it is a start. It is a start, and it is something, and it has value. It has worth. So that's what I would say. And it's not like that I'm, trying to talk to other people and preach about how they should live their lives. Trust me, I'm nobody to do that. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to share with anyone that might be interested or in a similar situation, find themselves in similar straits where they have enough of it. The world's full of it, and if you let it in you, you will carry it around. It will blossom in you, just like positivity will blossom in you. These are seeds. You plant them in you and you feed them, and they will grow and spread. They'll take your life over. And just as the negativity does, the positivity will. Except the difference is the positivity will bring you good things. The positivity will bring you peace. It will put you to rest and make you more peaceful in the world and make you feel more at one with people. And it's just contagious. You take the first steps, and more positive things will begin to happen in your life. More positive people will show up, and more positive experiences will accumulate for you. I know it to be true. It is happening for me, and it has continued to happen since I started. So it took me many years to even realize any of this. I would have thought this was nonsense and scoffed at it years and years ago. It's not nonsense, man. It's the frigging truth. It's reality. It's reality. We are spiritual beings. We're in these bodies, but there's so much more to us, and we're never going to know the riddle. But that doesn't mean we can't have belief. Belief in even ourselves, and that we can affect a change, and that we can live our life the way that we choose to, that we can eliminate some of the garbage, the bullshit, take the fucking trash out. Clean things up. Sweep up around there. You know what I mean? It's well worth it. It's well worth it. So I would just recommend anybody. My experience has been great, and I think that everybody should at least try it. All right, that's all for now. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry I put you through that with that friggin' video. I've been on this low carb, almost no carb, ketosis thing now for 8 frigging days. And I have dropped probably, I don't know how much. I'm afraid to step on the scale. That's my issue. I'm afraid to step on the scale now. But I see it today. You'll see it in the video from training today a little bit. I'm definitely leaning down. And I have enough muscle. If I lose a little muscle this way, just shedding some real quickly, it isn't going to mean or amount to anything, as I'll show you. Anyway, like I said, that's it. Take care. God bless, and thanks for sharing the moment with me.